The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has warned Nigerians to be cautious when taking cup of tea, popularly known as meshai, from vendors. NAFDAC's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, gave the warning on Monday in Abuja. The NAFDAC boss said the agency received information that the Hausa tea vendors now mix intoxicating drugs in the tea prepared for customers. According to her, the intoxicating drugs include tramadol, Vietling, marijuana, and others which could lead to loss of life after consumption. All right, Mr. Chinaka, is anything safe anymore in this country?
I remember vividly when I was much younger and we're growing up, we have these health inspectors. They move they move from house, they move to shops.
Sanitary inspectors.
Yes, but today, you see, the thing is that everything in this country has been thrown to the dogs. Because why? Our leaders are more interested in how much they're going to loot. It's about greed and selfishness. So it's no longer about the people. Because ordinarily, NAFDAC shouldn't just be warning Nigeria. NAFDAC should take steps to stop these people from operating. There are agencies that are there that should take steps to stop these things from operating. So you're warning Nigerians. What else do you want Nigerians to do? Forgetting that these Nigerians who patronize these people are doing it because most times they don't even have money to cook in their houses. And they must eat. So if you're saying that and you're warning Nigerians, what are you putting in place?
What's that? I think you've raised a very valid point, because I was thinking too, what level of awareness have you actually created, to stop Nigerians, from patronizing this? Because the majority of people who patronizes meshai, these roadside tea vendors, are the poor, the masses amongst us, who may not have an Android phone, may not have access to social media or the internet. So aside talking about it on this program, where else is it being talked about? That's my point.
It's not
exactly.
only roadside people. It's not only meshai. What about mesuya? What about mesuya? What caught my attention one day was when I was driving past. I saw somebody mesuya. He stood at a particular point, and I looked at the meat he was selling to people. Some of this meat must have stayed more than 1 week, rotting, and under it has something like microwave
to heat it up.
To heat it up. Now that
and then
we have to
lots of flies,
dust, smoke, and things like that. And people go out, especially travelers. Not only travelers, there are some even men who would park by the roadside to patronize them. So it's unfortunate. He has said something else. It is a level of poverty, one, and our government are no longer interested in the well-being of Nigerians. He mentioned about the sanitary inspectors. Those things are no longer there. They are not interested in how you live, how you survive. But unfortunately, I want to sound a note of caution here. If you are among those patronizing them, please stay away, including mesuya. Those suyas you are buying, you don't know how long they've stayed. You don't know what they used to preserve it. Every time you see them pouring oil that have stayed more than 1 month, you see them using oil to spray it on it.
Warming it up.
You see, it is unfortunate, and nobody has said anything. Thank God. Not that. All
right, let me bring Mr. Shokito in. While we're talking about this, as hilarious as the story might sound, there is a criminal angle to this, because let's assume I actually want a cup of tea and I patronize a roadside tea vendor. I have not asked for my tea to be spiked. And then you put in this kind of drugs like tramadol and the rest of them that could lead to somebody's death. That is criminal.
It is. But like you said, the people who are in charge of our affairs are only interested in their pockets. It's not only meshai. The other day I was reading on social media that this woman who sells food, they now add tablets.
Paracetamol
to make the food.
But that's wickedness.
Soft.
Yes.
You know, so this.
But I've always known that, you know, paracetamol is used to tenderize meat. You know, yes, that's
just to make meat tender. You know, so where are we safe any longer?
And the other day on the show, someone was talking about them using paracetamol to fry gari now, so it can look whiter.
What about those selling carrots, cucumber, and what have you? Some of these cucumbers, some of these carrots have stayed more than 1 week, and you see them using water to spray. There was a time it was even on the social media that they used to wash it even with the
gutter water.
Well, patients, you see, let us you know, NAFDAC has done their own.
Yeah,
but we know that there's an agency in this country that is meant to carry the people along, that is meant to educate the people, that is meant to create awareness on issues. National retention agency. What are they doing? Somebody sits there, the person is collecting salary every month from taxpayers' money, and nothing is being done. So this kind of thing is what they should be out there educating the people. Because like you said, how many people have Android phones?
Exactly. How many people have access to social media?
If I said that we are now operating a failed state, you will say, Mazin, you are not sure. If things are in place, must we see all these things? No more control. Who is in charge of this country?
You know one thing that baffles me when we talk about things like this. I look back and I remember when I was much younger. If area boys gather, and they hear that policemen are coming, they run. Today the policemen run from area boys.
They share loot with them.
They call them their wives now.
They run from them. So a lot has gone wrong in the system, and unfortunately, we are all sitting on the keg of gunpowder, waiting to explode.
Like you rightly said, you know, a lot needs to be done. I do know there was a time when we had health inspectors, you know, who monitor restaurants, eateries, you know, they go into their kitchens, they go behind the scene where a regular customer will not see, to see the environment where food is being prepared and all of that. I don't know if they still do that, but let's just assume they still do. They need to extend this inspection to whoever sells food, whether it is a buka or a small stand or whatever, or a noodle stand, no matter how little, as far as you are preparing food that the public has to eat. I think there should be someone regulating and monitoring.
By the roadside. Some of them are using this white maggie. Don't be a victim of such situations. They use white maggie, and it will be so sweet that when you buy it, then the next thing will be
as long as there are no rules and regulations, as long as people are allowed to put their wares on top of gutters, we cannot be talking about health safety. That's the truth. So that is where the problem lies. You know, there has to be a control. Check all the what do you call them? The bridges for overhead bridges, pedestrian bridges. It's been turned into a market store. Nobody's bothered.
Even the walkway around
one side, beggars covering one side. You have people displaying their you know, and then you see a lot of people getting knocked down because they are afraid of flowing those.
Especially what about meat? You go to Oba, the walkway on the road. Butchers are selling their meat there, exposing it to flies, exposing it to dust, exposing it to sand, and people go there to buy. What about those selling vegetables?
All right, you know, we need to keep pushing this message because it has a ripple effect at the end of the day. You know, what you consume today might be responsible for your failing health tomorrow, which is why we're talking about this. Please note that if you are one of those who patronizes the roadside tea vendors, mishai and all of that, be very careful, because I know some people cannot outrightly rule it out. Be very careful to ensure that your beverage is not spiked with drugs, tramadol, Vietling, marijuana, and those are even the ones we know about. How about the ones we do not know about? Let's all be careful, guys. All right, when we come back from another commercial break, we'll be looking at endemic poverty in the north. According to a recent World Bank report, northern Nigeria accounts for 87% of the poverty rate in Nigeria. After the break.
You need welcome to Hello.
Good to have you join us again. If you're just tuning in, you're watching The Buzz Tuesday's edition. Let's quickly look at some feedbacks coming in. Emmanuel from Abuja says, good morning. It's quite unfortunate that our leaders no longer care about the well-being of the masses. All they care about now is their pockets. NAFDAC's warning just sounds like a joke to me, because this warning would not reach the main patronizers of this roadside mishai. There must be an agency that will inspect and checkmate the activities of those mishai. Just what I said. All right, one more. This one is coming in from Charles, and it says, good day, ma, splendid panelists. The truth is that we have lost value in this country, and the bane of all this is our clueless leaders. What happens to consumer protection in our country? Expired milk, debt in beverage drinks, and so on. Nigeria is once a country. I am sorry to use this word. Thank you, Charles. I mean, yes, he really very valid
what
point.
came to my mind was,
the Consumer Protection Agency.
Last year, was it last year? A governor from the northern states empowered his people with this tea, whatever. And today, NAFDAC is complaining. A governor, a sitting governor, he won election this time again, empowered his people to be selling teas and things like that.
All right, okay. Well, good job by NAFDAC, but they need to do a whole lot more, because this guy talked about debt in beverages and all of that. I have a very unpleasant experience not too long ago. I bought a malt drink. Thankfully, I poured it into a glass cup. There was a dead cockroach as big as this, right inside the malt. So thankfily I poured it out. Like, that happened to me. So they just need to do
advise that people should not drink from the can.
Yes, and if you must drink from the can, please get water and wash it. The top and the bottom, because
it's not
the warehouses where these things are kept, rats run around freely on them.
We need to be sincere with ourselves. It's not about the out. We're talking about what
is inside.
I mean, the content is what is it?
It's a whole lot.
The cockroach was inside.
It's a whole lot.